Howdy, 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 this is JL again with this weekly Shonen Nonsense. Yes, I was out last week. It was vacation time. I decided not to be here. So, I'm going to be covering the Shonen comics for this week of February 26th, 2023. Alright, first up on the docket is One Piece 1076. This is a multitude of little stories here today. We start with, of course, the Straw Hats and CP0 versus the Seraphim. That's, really clever of Kaku to try to get out of his current situation, but Lucci not having any of it, being very much unspy-like himself, basically just agreeing with Luffy, like, don't worry, I'm going to kill you, not necessarily all of your friends. First. So, of course, they have a little bout between the Seraphim and our respective swordsmen and leaders of both parties, which has been quite fun there, especially with Mihawk having that mix of Mr. One's blade powers. A really cool callback. This is going to be an amazing fight if it continues, at least. Of course, we jump stock to a different story here involving the CP members, the CP 5, 7, and 8, who seem to mysteriously have been captured by somebody in the facility, who has also seemed to have captured Dr. Vegapunk. So what's going on here? Of course, being what it is, we jump to another story, and of all things, it's Shanks. He's on Elbaf with Broggy and Dory. What the fuck? All right, so we're really introduced to the big heavy hitters versus Kid. I'm not sure who to root for, and will Kid be able to survive not only fighting, Shanks, the guy he lost to already, but the Giants of Elbaf, led by our boys Dory and Broggy. I am so happy. Even seeing the Oimo in the background there. It's a very fun chapter. Very amazing paneling. Big bolsterous hits right in the middle. Good stuff. Good stuff. Next, starting at the bottom, is Jiangshi X, Chapter 6. Well, this is a very long-winded chapter, but a very, interesting twist now where, 6 chapters into the story, we've just kind of established a village and everything's falling apart. We get a bunch of stake foreshadowing. We see this stake. It's mysterious. It's black. It has writing on it. It's some kind of mysterious tome, and they have to go to a library and look it up, and oh my god, something bad's going to happen. And of course, we thankfully see what bad happens in this chapter, where everybody's dead. And of course, we've got a new big bad group of, I guess, heretic monks. So this is going to be fascinating. A little change. Hopefully, we kind of get a little bit more into it. Hopefully, the Akatsuki doesn't just run train too hard on these poor innocent youngsters. Something has to give. I hoped this story kind of changes a bit, because we're kind of using the Jiangshi not really as the horrible monsters they are, but rather being a kind of zombie power set thing. I'm really not sure where they're going with it. Hopefully it gets better. Alright, and now on to Fabricant 100, Chapter 11. We're jumping into a new mission. Everybody's happy with the new main character, Hugo. We finally got his name. And of course, we show the well-important lawyer badge. I mean, membership badge of our hero society group thing. And of course, the Hugo doesn't want to give away the badge because this kid's just hiding behind their big strong woman. So how dare he hide behind the big strong woman, have a power set of basically being an innocent bystander while she does all the work. So of course, we then jump into the next little story arc when a dead body falls from the top of a cliff, and well, it's not really dead, dying. Been shot through the chest. He's probably gonna be dead. No use saving him. He'll be dead by the end of the chapter. So anyway, we cut to the mansion where we see someone with special eyes looking down on the group as they come towards the mansion. Pretty straightforward. Good building of tension between the two young boys. Hopefully they'll actually do something with that. More than just foreshadowing his dark past of being, I guess, affected by whoever that tall, shadowy person was. I don't know. Well, hopefully it continues. Hopefully we see what's going to happen next in this big new mission. Ichigoki's Under Control, number 12, chapter 12. Well, okay, so last week I kind of missed, I did read it, of course, with the apparent time skip of all the way to the end of the semester. Is the series going to end really abruptly? Oh my god, that'd be terrible. Especially considering we got the summer festival, so we're right in the middle of summer, and apparently we have a yandere, a very dumb yandere, and a very dumb main character. Ichigoki's very much pulling off his trunks. He looks like Super Saiyan Trunks. Oh god, they're not avoiding it. It's so, clearly misunderstanding that she might actually be into him, though, to be frank, she was very bad at showing that. And of course, they have a big romantic space hug where they can't hear each other and clearly nothing is going to be advanced. Hinting at something greater. This series might be wrapping up very shortly, which is really sad considering we're just barely into the first volume, essentially. So hopefully it survives. I don't know where it would be going from here, of course. Like, are we going to go to college? Or, like, are we going to go for a day job? Like, is this story going to continue with him just being a robot for the rest of his life? We don't really know. Doesn't seem like it's going to go very far. It's sad, but yeah, these kind of things happen. It's a gag series. There will be other gag series that come after. Now we're on to Cypher Academy, Chapter 13. Alright, so last week, Iroha decided to take on this preppy rich girl because she made her colleague say the word "but" a whole lot, and he isn't going to take it lying down. So he makes a cipher involving a set of key notes on a note sheet, and we reveal she's blind or going blind, but she has like special contact lenses to keep that she was getting from classroom M. Okay. But thankfully, halfway through, Askgirl actually butts in and says, yeah, no, this is not actually, a bad thing. We've been friends forever. I'm just taking it way too seriously. And everyone's like, oh, these goofy kids. Seriously, though, thank God it broke up the tension. But it was also like, maybe we're getting something interesting. Like, see him actually win at something. But no, he had to not win, I guess, to, gather up all the girls, to not necessarily be on bad terms, but, building up something, especially at the end of the chapter where we reveal the next arc is going to be a murder mystery. Ooh, someone's going to die. I guess. I don't know. No one really explains anything here, and I'm not looking forward to this. Oh god, it's going to be so much reading for a murder mystery. Again, this series tends to be word diarrhea, and it is unfortunately continuing to do that even into this bit, but hopefully we, move on, and hopefully, other series can survive this more than this will. Alright, on to more somber stories. The Ichinose Family's Deadly Sins, Chapter 14. Oh boy. This is about an affair. Being straightforward, the mother tells Tsubasa, yeah, your father was having an affair. Well, at least she thinks he has an affair. We don't actually know about it. And we're kind of getting more and more hints to what actually is going on. Possibly we're seeing Tsubasa going through what essentially is a nightmare based off of head trauma that he's having after the car crash. But, like, it's still sort of up in the air. We don't know what the actual father is about. It's very confusing, but clearly showing that, maybe Tsubasa's starting to remember maybe life wasn't really that good in the beforehand, but the reasons why are slowly starting to be revealed as the story goes on, and fake dad seems to know more than he lets on, especially when we leave the scene and we see him kind of contemplating what's going down. So this is still intriguing, still very scary, and especially, oh god, mom might be murdering that kid, or at least kidnapping him, or kidnap murdering. Hopefully it just ends at that. Alright, next up on the dock is Ginka and Luna, chapter 23. And we're getting the fight between Nosferatu-Zod and Ginka, so that's nice. It's a very straightforward chapter, though we get a little bit of the mindset between Nosferatu-Zod, kind of just seeing humans as batteries, as fuel sources for his magical energy. Just little bits of it. You know, they're not using it, you know, they'll die, but yeah, and I'll get a little bit of it, and I'll stay alive and get more magical energy. Sort of an endless cycle. You know, as it's going on, I keep getting, like, Dorohedoro flashbacks, because essentially it's the same general idea of magicians being these kind of just jackasses who take power and, test their magic on innocent bystanders, though it's a little less, visually distinct as Dorohedoro, so I'm hoping that it gets a little more creative, though, I mean, the attacks on this have been very interesting and disturbing looking, so hey, all good. And of course we get Ginka getting his wand back, which apparently was somebody's clothes drying rack, so hopefully we get a little bit more action next chapter, especially considering, wait, it in Nosferatu's hands, is that a Behelit? Oh no, the God Hand is coming. You know, I'm gonna have to really readjust my end of series radar that I've been developing, because apparently we continue with Tokyo Demon Bride Story chapter 24. We're just going straight into a rescue arc, and granted, I mean, the series might still be ending soon, but holy crap, I did not realize it was going to continue on here this long, especially with like a Save Rukia arc of all things, as we go into Otherworld, the world where her dear, sweet aunt rules with an iron fist. And we have, of course, our three-man group, the boy, the cat girl, and the frog girl, going into an elevator that then leads to a mystical land of strange pygmy creatures that want to kill them and eat them. Yeah, atypical stuff, cute little things. Especially like near the end where we see the leader of the village who looks strangely like a Sekiro boss. But of course, they say the magical name Monica, and they now have an in on saving her from the demon land. And okay, I mean, still, I'm again really surprised that it continues to go forward. Again, I'm really thinking, hey, the series is gonna end soon, but at the same time, it just continues on. Maybe it's catching its wind. Maybe people are actually starting to like it. I don't know. Maybe there's some golden ticket information that I'm not sure of. But hey, we continue to read anyway. Alright, now we're on to Akane Banashi, chapter 51. We're actually getting a villain story. This is a really straightforward and great chapter. I'm just seeing how we kind of get the villain's mindset here, and just what he values as a person, how he views himself, and what he does. We see a barmaid who runs a bar, gets a regular who always has a tab but never pays, and always asks for this weird goldfish drink. And, of course, she gets sick. She runs the shop by herself, but always, saying, this is fine, the house is on fire, but this is fine, everything's burning, this is fine. She eventually gets sick and almost dies, and, of course, coming to her rescue is our main villain, who, pays his tab finally, and doesn't show the exact amount, but whatever, go back, make my drink, please. This is a great chapter of, like, just kind of introducing why we have, the character set we have, why we have our main new rival boy kind of looking at Akane going, hey, I got some news for you. So, again, looking forward to seeing where this goes, especially after the big last arc involving the Oriron story. We're sort of not sure where we're going to go next. Maybe we're going to switch perspectives a bit here for a little while to our rival, just kind of see how the other lane goes, or we're going to see a new contest. Not sure. Hopefully it's going to be something good, because this is good. And now we're up to Blue Box Chapter 90. This chapter is split between two narratives, each having our main character kind of meeting with a rival. In Taiki's case, he's competing for some basketball tickets with his romantic rival. Meanwhile, Chinatsu's meeting with Yumika, her former rival and former teammate. It's very interesting to kind of get into Yumika's backstory and really understand why she did what she did, which was because she felt inadequate. She felt like quitting. And she would see Chinatsu practice and go, man, you don't stop but I want to. So she stopped while Chinatsu kept going forward. And of course, Chinatsu's finally with a guy, and she goes, like, what's going on? Like, are you giving up? Are you finally giving up? But Chinatsu sees it a different way. She sees it as she lost a rival, but gained an inspiration with Taiki. And we kind of juxtapose this with Taiki continuing to fight for those tickets. Meanwhile, god damn, the art is great in this. And it continues to just, go back and forth, really showing the emotions between the characters. Again, this went to 90 for a good fucking reason. Blue Box is a great series. I seriously hope its anime lives up to this. Well, that's if it gets an anime. But anyway, moving on to Witch Watch 98, a chapter about dating. The most wonderful of dates. Not really. Of course, the boys are debating who's the better dater, because apparently dating for these guys is a game. And, the more date points you get, the closer you are to marriage, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, Moe doesn't really know what to do. Apparently making an entire date plan, and they go from place to place, trained bus to walk to station to go to the movies I've never seen, drinking coffee that I've never drank. But puns I do appreciate. It's a cute little chapter. We're getting closer and closer to the end of October, so hopefully we see the next big motion in the next chapter. Or just another gag. I don't mind. It's fun to meander. Boom, pow, it's time for Sakamoto Days 108. The 108 stars of destiny. Not really. As we're getting more backstory, of course, now we got our 3 main leads going for a mission, and they get another one. They get Slur, or the young Slur at least, going into a department store, and oh my god, the things you see John Wick do with a credit card. And of course, various little action scenes commence, just continuing this narrative, like how none of the civilians just seem to care or notice whenever they murder somebody. And, I mean, they just leave the bodies around, don't they? What happens to them? But of course we get the target there, Steel Dragon, facing off against Taro, who admits he's the strongest one there, because, he is the strongest one there. I mean, he used that credit card, of course. So anyway, good stuff. Alright, moving on to Manga Plus for Ayakashi Triangle Chapter 121. And it's a Gorgon's head. Okay, it's Medusa's head, which doesn't make any sense. Medusa's head wasn't animate. She was dead, her head was cut off by Perseus, and he showed the head to his stepfather in order to petrify him. Not really there as a sentient being, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. It's the Castlevania reference, which doesn't really even make sense there, because she doesn't actually freeze anybody in Castlevania. Beside the point. The point is, we're seeing more tits and ass. Mostly Luz, who is a little underage. It's a little squicky. I mean, again, that's what you get for a series aimed at teenagers with tits and ass in it. So, of course, we have alien ninjas as a plot point, and, of course, snake head tentacles, because snake heads and snakes are like tentacles if they're all one giant, massive snakes. Ball snake. I mean, I'm also seeing at the very end of the edgy boy heterochromia, because, under the eye patch has to be another eye. That's a different color. Silly stuff. But again, I'm just still lamenting the idea that it wasn't a cockatrice. You had a golden opportunity. You have boobs, you have butts, but you could have had a cockatrice right in the middle of them. Moving forward, back to Shonen Jump is Undead Unluck 148. And we're back in Nam! So we get the team fighting off the various tanks. And, of course, Fuko showing that she could probably beat Solid Snake in a fight. With basically slapping every single one of the tanks in order to make them break themselves. And, of course, we get a little bit more of Captain Creed, or Lieutenant Creed, or Captain. I guess he was getting Captain post-mortem, or that's what they want him to be. Military hierarchy is a bitch. And, we have Billy in the background going, do I want to trust these people? Maybe, maybe not. But still, Fuko fighting Creed. It's a very fun little story, and again, I'm wanting to see what happens next here in Nam. And of course, last on the docket is My Hero Academia 381. It is Shiketsu to the rescue. The Shiketsu boys and girl keep all for one at bay while he tries to steal their abilities and powers, and everybody else's. But of course, it all is a nice little ruse for Tokuyami to make his move and use Dark Shadow's abilities to their brightest. Talking and the nice little hints at darkness the entire chapter where it's like, oh, my golden time of darkness, and now it's time for Tokuyami's darkness to shine. The puns just write themselves, don't they? Of course, this is clearly not going to be the end. Yeah, Tokuyami's power is really powerful. It's darkness, amplifying stand that can't be touched physically. So clearly, it's going to be punching the crap out of him. But it's not going to end this fight. We still have so much more to go. We still have so many more characters to go through. Toga is still alive and hopefully will survive. I'm just really wanting Toga to come out of this and still be a character. I am insane, but regardless, that will be it for the manga this week. Well, that's the end of this week's manga. I will do a post-mortem here for our dear lost high school family, and it ended at chapter 122. It's sad to see it go. It was a really good story. It was a fun little gag manga, funny, kept week to week. It always made me laugh, but it also had this sort of sports manga bent. Our family members all were parts of sports teams of some sort or another. We saw victories, we saw losses, we saw triumph, but we saw sorrow and melancholy. So it was always fun to read through. It didn't end on a bad note, and it didn't end early either. 122 chapters, that's about 2.5 years. It's good publication length for a series, and it's gotten a few volumes under its belt. So, hey, I'm really hoping the manga artist does another series. He has done other series on Shonen Jump before. I haven't read, but I assume, based on the comedy here, that they're just as funny. So, good on to his next work. I really hope it's another good one. And that'll do it for this week. A pretty good handful of chapters. Not too many stinkers. One Piece is good, and of course, the young series are still young, and the older series are still kicking and doing their jobs right. Hopefully, we get something new coming up soon, considering we lost High School Family last week. We didn't get anything new this week, but, going forward, I hope the next Shonen Jump issue is grand. I have a feeling, though, we're not going to get One Piece next week, and that makes me sad. Because a week without One Piece it just feels empty. But anyway, I hope you all are having fun. Again, these are just my thoughts, just my meandering nonsense. Have fun, y'all.